Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Currently for me, it is 2:55, June 16th. So it's been a really long time since I've last spoken to you guys on the camera. And I don't know if you guys can tell from the quality difference, but it's on my new camera that I got from my friends. So it's like extra meaningful because not made with, but it's bought with the love of my closest friends, so it means the world to me. I've been so freaking busy with school because I just finished my last final this past Friday, but then I ended up staying for Saturday and Sunday graduations. I went to 5 grad ceremonies, guys. Like Sunday, me and my friend, we stayed from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Right, which was also like very emotional to see all my friends leaving, and I also just can't believe that that's going to be me next year. We're not going to talk about it. So that's essentially why I haven't been able to like vlog anything. Summer, I plan to be super duper consistent, especially with my new camera, but I kind of want to ease myself into it because I don't really feel like editing right now. I want to bum out, and so I thought like a nice slow paced yap sesh would be a great way to start. I just got a Baja Blast and they gave me a medium even though I ordered a small, and then he was like, oh, it's also happy hour at 2 p.m. so my total was like $1.60 something. It was so cheap, but I'm ready. This video is going to be probably a long one. I'm gonna be in this car yapping for a bit just because this is such a near and dear topic to me that has shaped a lot of who I am, and it's impacted me a lot. If you're new here, my name's Sophia, and I haven't talked about this, but I'm 21 and I've never had my first kiss, never been in a relationship, but I love it. Like, I'm very happy with that fact and I'm very proud of it, and I know that's not a common take, and I wanted to talk about it. I actually tried to film this video like a while ago. It took me 3 hours because I like went to so many side tangents. There's just too much that I could say about this, so I wrote an outline just so that I have like some guidelines. This phenomena of being a late bloomer is so much more common than we think. I'm in an area where I'm surrounded by actually a lot of people where this is really common, and they're all so bad, so it's like really reassuring in an external way that like, okay, I'm not the problem because these like gorgeous women also are late bloomers technically. But I also know what it's like to be surrounded by people where you are the only one. Like my 2 closest best friends from home, they're both in long-term relationships. They've been with their partners for multiple years now, one of them since high school. So I know what it's like to be in both situations where it's normal and it's also not normal. If you're in the latter where it's not that common, I want you to know that there are so many girls like us who haven't experienced anything yet. And I feel like that feeling of isolation kind of contributes to feeling super left behind. But you're not alone. Seeing Erica Titus, she used to talk about how she was like in her 20s and never had anything. That was so like validating to see. And so in a way, I hope that like me talking about my own experiences can help. Also because I feel like this topic in general about not experiencing anything, when I talk about it with my friends or like when I talk about it with other people, for the most part, it's talked about pretty negatively. Like we always complain about it and you're always just like waiting. But I want to offer an alternative mindset because I actually have come to like love it. And so if you're also a late bloomer, I hope this helps you kind of either accept it or love it. If you're just here to see what the other side is like, welcome. So I've also broken this video up into subsections, so I'll like leave little timestamps so you guys can skip ahead. I'm gonna cover why I'm single, like kind of my own history with like romance and all of that stuff, why I haven't dated, how it impacts you, because although I am going to talk about it in a super like optimistic manner, it did heavily impact me negatively, so I don't want to just disregard all of that because I think that's really invalidating for my own experience, what I've learned, some advice, and then I'll wrap up with like some real quick tips to help. I honestly never thought I would be 21 and single because I remember I started feeling left behind at 16. Now I know that it's so young, but when I was 16, I think that's when media starts marketing teenage love and romance. When I kind of started getting antsy about it, but then I was like, okay, for sure, before I turn 18, before I become a legal adult, I will have like my first kiss or a boyfriend or whatever. And then I turned 18 and then I was like, okay, no, that's okay, I'm still a teenager. Before I turn 20 though, I need to have something. And I remember like I made it such a big deal because when I was like 19, I would tell my friends, I was like, yeah, I'll just like kiss someone random at a party and just like get it over with. But then it was like the last day before I turned 20, and I remember thinking, I've waited this long, what would all that waiting have been for if I just like kissed someone random? So then I turned 20 and I realized that like it generally just like does not matter. And now I'm content to waiting. Now I'm just here. It is what it is. When I used to tell people that I've never had anything, I was so embarrassed by it. I genuinely did not like saying it because I felt like it was evidence that no one had ever wanted me. It just felt very vulnerable telling people like, oh yeah, never have pulled, have no game, is like basically what it felt like I was implying. But I think I've come to realize that now when I say it, I'm actually proud to tell people, because now it's proof that I've waited for so long because I have such high standards and I know what I'm waiting for, and it's proof that I've stood by that. But that being said, let's go into my history for a bit. Also, I'm just yapping. This part you might want to skip. This is just me recounting my lore. Does this have like a point to it? Not really, but it kind of does explain like, I guess, how I got here. Anyways, this is just like a tea session. I had like so many crushes in elementary school. Like I swear I had to run through all the fruits for the different like code names. Pineapple was super big with my friends. Blueberry. There was nothing like dramatic with my childhood. Nothing happened. And then 6th grade, I actually got a boy. Well, I don't actually know if we ever labeled it. I feel like we kind of did. Guys, it's so 6th grade, for instance. This is really funny. So I was really into the song On Top of the World by the Carpenters because my parents really love that song. And so I typed it out on a Google Doc and then I like gave it to him, and we used to go to like an after school program where if your parents are working, you just like stay until they can pick you up. And then he was like staying at the tables here. Also, like this is such a vivid memory because of how embarrassing it freaking was. So he was sitting at this table and then there was like a corner where only 6th graders would go, and then there was like a desk, and I handed him the paper and I ran and I hid under the desk. That just goes to show like how elementary school it was. And it's so funny because he thought that it was a love poem that I wrote to him. That was how the entire like our relationship was. I don't even know if we texted. It was so long ago, probably. I can't even imagine what our conversations were like. For Valentine's Day, my friend, who was like our mutual friend, had to buy it for me because I was scared I would get caught. And then I remember we met up Valentine's Day and I chucked it at him, like from like, we're like 6 feet apart. I like chuck it at him and I ran away. I don't know if this is just a me thing, but I was always so scared of anything with guys. Like it felt overwhelming. Like I don't know how girls so young had relationships and they weren't scared. I was terrified. Even the concept of holding this boy's hand scared the crap out of me. I would just get so red and embarrassed. It just felt like so much when I was so young. Somehow it went all the way from 6th grade, and then middle school, 7th grade, we broke up. It's because like one of the school dances, I think his friend texted me from his phone that like he didn't like me anymore, but I thought he was saying it right. And then I like cried, and then he found me at the dance and was like, no, like my friend sent me that. And then I was like, no, we're like done. I honestly can't remember. To this day, I think that's the closest I've been to a relationship. 7th grade, I went to this thing where it was like an after school program, but a little bit older in age. And I remember I was in a co-ed group and our dares would be to hold each other's hands. I genuinely felt like I would explode. I just feel like some girls know how to be in a relationship, and like others, it's the most terrifying thing. And I fell into the latter. Come 7th grade, I actually had 2 guy friends like me. I did not like them back. 8th grade, I liked a boy, and I am very like, we'll make the move. I'm pretty confrontational. I remember I rallied up the courage and I sprinted from math class to his history class where my friend was, which was like kind of far apart. And I got there and he wasn't there. I think it was like the last day before spring break or summer or whatever. And I was so devastated because I had like hyped this up to my friends. I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell him. Wasn't there. So me and my friends are walking to the library after school, which is what we always did. And I ended up texting, or no, I called him And then I think I told him and then I hung up. Guys, this is like, no wonder I wasn't in a relationship in freaking middle school, bro. I had zero riz. And then high school, I wanted a relationship so bad. 9th grade, I was in a friend group, and then like COVID started, and the beginning of COVID, me and one of the guys, we kind of had a thing. And I remember like we went on a date, but I swear we had 10 friends who went. It was crazy because I invited Sabrina actually, so she can talk about this, because I needed a cover because I couldn't tell my parents I was going on a date. So I brought Sabrina, and then I told him that, so then he brought his friends. But then we ran into some friends over there, and then at one point we were sitting and we were just talking, and then I think he was trying to hold my hand, but like I couldn't do it. And then all like my friends were hiding behind this very large potted plant, but it's almost like the comedic sitcom scenarios where they're all peeking their head out, and it's so obvious that they're watching. And then I ended up telling him I only want to be friends. Then 10th grade, still COVID. I met this guy while I was shopping, but I low-key can't remember how it happened. Either my friend told him I thought I was cute, and then, oh, I think that's what it was. Guys, I was just so young and so, maybe like desperate isn't the right word. Oh, I was very eager. And I remember we were talking and like, I'm trying to be like super nonchalant, which I'm like the least nonchalant person alive. It's been so long, but something, either I wanted to FaceTime him or I wanted to like meet up, and then he was very against it, and then I kept pushing like, girl, take the hint, take the hint. Did not take the hint. I think he ended up ghosting me, question mark. Fast forward, junior year of high school was when we all came back from COVID. So honestly, I couldn't really focus on relationships because I was so bent on like trying to make friends and trying to reintegrate back into school. 12th grade, I actually did like one of my friends, but it was weird. Like nothing happened, but like there were just like weird moments, you know what I mean? But yeah. College was low-key, I like to think of it as narrowing down what I like, if that makes sense. So first year, I met this really cool guy. Not my type physically, but so emotionally intelligent, and it really made me realize that I did want someone who I could have such deep talks with. Then sophomore year, I went on 2 dates. The first guy, before him, I was so sure that I wanted someone pretty similar to me in the sense that they're extroverted, and I wanted like our humor levels to match, and he fit my type to like a T on paper. But then we went on a date, and I think there's too much similarity where he was yapping so much that I didn't really feel any urge to yap. I don't know, I just didn't really feel like myself. That didn't go anywhere. The second date I went on, that was the first time I think I've been like actively pursued so heavily. That was really nice, but again, I just don't think there was like any spark there. I didn't really feel it, but it really showed me I want a guy that wants me, which sounds so freaking stupid, but it's so nice to experience being on the other side of it. And then junior year, this year, low-key the driest year. Although recently, like literally this past Friday, it was a crazy night. I was like talking to a guy, but then he was lying and like saying he wasn't in a talking stage, but then I found out from friends that he was, and I was like, why would you, like, ew. But yeah, that is my lore. It's just like not aligning. It's just not the right people. It's just not the right circumstances. But like, why I haven't dated, one, I don't want to say I'm picky. Picky has a very negative connotation. I just have high expectations, and I don't even want to say high expectations. I genuinely feel like the bar is so in hell that basic minimum expectations sound high. Loyalty, minimum. Why is that a high expectation? Like, not micro cheating is also not a high expectation. That should be bare minimum. So I'm not gonna say I have high expectations, I just have expectations. Shout out Olivia Rodrigo's new song, that one's so good. I just think that like with anyone, it has to be the perfect mix of everything. The right humor, the perfect amount of banter, the perfect amount of yap and chemistry. It just all has to really mesh with you. And I think it's hard to find that person that fits you like that just because of circumstances. Like, I just haven't met the right person. Which is a great segue into how this impacts you, because I've always wanted a relationship, clearly. I've been trying since like circa 15. Like, my least favorite saying is when everyone tells you it'll happen when you least expect it. And to a point, I get it, but I think it's really hard when it feels like you're waiting your entire life. Like, I feel like there's never not been a moment when it's not slightly in the back of my mind. But it always just feels like you're somewhat expecting it, and then you're like, oh, okay, if it happens when you're not expecting it or when you don't want one, but I'm always kind of wanting it, does that mean it's just never gonna happen? It's so built up by social media, by your friends. It's this huge secret that no one's letting you in on. I'm gonna use like a big back awe analogy, but it feels like everyone's eating the super cool cake and you just want a freaking bite of it. It doesn't even have to be a slice. Like, I'm okay with a bite, just like a taste of it, and they're all just eating it in front of you. And honestly, it makes you really insecure, or at least it did for me. I think because when you don't feel male validation, like, you do feel unwanted. It's not a sign that you're not unwanted, but it's really hard to shake that feeling. Because here are all your friends who are all getting into relationships, so what is wrong with me? Like, why does nobody want me? Looking back, like, I truly, guys, when I tell you I didn't really feel like I got hit on until I consolidated my timeline and I was like, wait, I've had things happen. It doesn't feel like it. Like, no matter how many things have happened for you, you still feel like ultimately, if I haven't ever been in a relationship, it doesn't matter. Like, that is proof enough that nobody has ever wanted me. Like, I can't even put into words how insecure you get, because you start to try to really figure out what's wrong with you. Like, am I not pretty enough? Is there something wrong with my personality? Is there something I'm not doing that everybody else seems to be? I remember I hated going out with my friends because I couldn't even focus on having fun and dancing. I was just always trying to like catch eyes with someone, or it didn't feel like a good night unless something had happened, which is so bad. But you're always just stuck in this loop of wanting and desperation. I don't want to invalidate that. Like, I think it's almost like inevitable to feel that way when we just start craving this feeling of being desired. And that's so normal. Like, I think I just recently stopped feeling that way. Like, it comes and goes in waves. But I want to let you know that you're not alone. Like, it truly does impact your self-image, and it makes you feel like guys don't want you. But I want to go into more of like what this video is about, which is what I've learned. And I think this is like the most important part, because I think it's really easy to get stuck in this loop of insecurity. There is like a lot of things that I have learned from this experience that I'm very grateful for. So for instance, going back to when I hated going out because I felt so bad if a guy didn't want me, and I hated feeling that way. Like, I wanted to be able to enjoy myself, and I kept thinking to myself, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend, because then I could just dance and have fun, knowing and being secure in the idea that there's someone waiting for me at home. And I really sat down with that thought. You can apply that thought even when you're single, because I know that eventually I will find my person, and that person is waiting for me. So I can go out knowing that eventually he will come. That sounds really dumb. Like, I don't know if this is like a girl duh like thought, but even something as simply like reframing that in my head really helped me a lot, and I was able to just go out and dance. And yeah, is there a possibility that your future boyfriend might be in the club? Sure. But you know that if the time is right and if he is your person, it'll happen. So you can just have fun and know that he's coming. Does that make sense? I don't know. So it's like thinking about it through that lens helped me a lot. And then I've also learned just what I do and don't want just from seeing all my friends go on dates and relationships. And now I'm so independent. I'm so busy. I can't wait to meet my boyfriend when he comes. But my life isn't waiting for a man. My life is for me to live and grow and thrive. And with that, you learn so much about yourself. 21 years single, you learn so much about who you are as a person, your morals, your friendships, your standards of friendships. I think because now I know myself better, I also know the type of man I want better. And it's less of the more shallow qualities, but more deeper, insightful things. Because I want a man who reflects the best parts of myself and pushes me to be a better person, so that in turn I can push him to be a better person. But I do want to say that yes, have those huge standards, but Also, I think it's important to be open-minded, is something that I've learned, because it's really easy to theorize off of books and off of what your friends say, constructing and build-bearing your dream man, but you truly never know if those traits are something that like connect or vibe with you unless you go out on those dates. So go out on those dates and try. Like, most importantly, we accept the love that we think we deserve. Like, people say that, and it's so true, and it's so applicable, not just to romantic love, but also platonic love. Knowing what you deserve also comes from really falling in love with yourself and really strengthening that bond with yourself. Because now that I've spent 21 years really cultivating and growing who I am, I'm not letting some mid-man come and destroy and ruin all that. That love that we think we deserve is also really reflective in our friendships. And I'm so blessed, because I think throughout my entire life, I've been really blessed with so many amazing friends that have really taught me what love is like. I kind of had practice being in a relationship a bit with my best friends. Like, for instance, like Claire and I've learned so much about communication. I've learned to communicate even over the slightest things, and I love that about our friendship, because we're so open and honest with each other that when any little thing irks us, we just tell each other, and not in a like a nitpicky way. In the span of our like friendship, we barely have had to like confront each other. I think maybe like a total of like 3 times, 4 times, but it's because it strengthens our bonds, because we also show love in different ways, we communicate and fight in different ways, we view life in different ways, and I think communication helps me see life through her lens and understand her better, and I'm able to take that lesson with me into my future relationship. It's so important to communicate. Like, I'm such a big advocate for it, and also understanding, because communication means jack shit if you don't try to understand what that person truly means and what they want to say. And it's important to like say your side, but also take accountability for when you've been wrong. But like, not even just communication, I've learned little acts of love. I think girls are also just good at noticing and the art of understanding, because to be loved is to be seen. Claire knows that my favorite thing about like a car is the car seat warmers, and so one time when I was having a really bad day, she just like had the car seat warmer on for when like I went in, and like that tiny little thing is so, it just makes you feel so loved. And like, if a man can't even open a door for me, it's like my best friends treat me so well that you have to match them or do better. And it has raised my expectation of love exponentially. So I think that has also taught me to appreciate my friendships more, and to also like put my time and emphasis on friendships too, and to build strong relationships with that. Love is not just romantic. There's so much platonic love, familial love, and I think that's the part where like my take might be coming a little naive, because I think that you can focus on those loves first, and I realize that they're different, but I don't know what romantic love feels like, so I don't really know what I'm missing. But I think platonic love is so beautiful. You get to appreciate it in your singleness, because that's one of the only loves that you know, and it kind of does feel like a relationship in a sense. It's kind of getting hot in my car, and I finished the MWUAH blast and I need to pee. I've been here for so long, so I need to wrap this up. I still have 3 sections I want to talk about. Oh my gosh. So my advice on how to change your mindset: perspective is everything. And the first thing that I think helps you change your perspective is feeling like this is a choice. I think a huge part of why so many of us hate being single is because it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like this is circumstances, like this is being done to us. It feels so unfair. I think realizing that it is a choice is really important. You might be thinking, oh, that's so easy for you to say when you've had opportunities, but I argue that even if you've never had anything, like maybe not even like a guy look at you, that's still a choice that you're still single now. Because if you really wanted to, like truly, like you wanted your first kiss or you wanted a boyfriend, you could have done the craziest methods alive, like gone to Las Vegas and like paid someone. You could have eloped with someone random on the street. You could have gone online and just like gone on some random website. And these sound so extreme, so you're like, why would I ever do that? But exactly, like you could have and you didn't. Honestly, if you're desperate enough for anything, you will find like somehow, some way to make it happen. So the fact that you're still single now, that is a choice. And I hope that's an empowering thing, because it's so empowering. It is such a hard choice to make in the face of what modern love has become in this day and age, because I think there's some like questionable people out there, and it's so important to know that like you chose this for yourself because you know what you're waiting for, you know, and you're not gonna accept less. Another thing is that I used to be scared that my first boyfriend wouldn't be everything that I was waiting for. And is there that chance? Probably. But also, again, this is all choice. I used to be like, oh, what if my boyfriend's like so bummy? But then it's like, why would I have dated that person in the first place? Whoever I end up dating, it's because he met my standards, he met my expectations. And so in a way, not that it's a guarantee, but I have control over who my first boyfriend is. So I know that when that happens, he will be like what I was waiting for, right? And then even if like there's that chance that he ends up becoming an absolute villain that I didn't know, I think the biggest reassurance I have is that, again, I know what I'm waiting for, and as soon as I know that he's not that one, I will drop him like a hot potato. And again, like, you can't leave, you know? Like, knowing that you're not going to accept that kind of crappy love, like, you don't deserve it. So you're ultimately gonna find your person. It'll be okay. Once you've realized this is a choice, you can fall in love with it by choosing to take the time to focus on yourself. I think the biggest misconception is that people are like, oh, use this time to be the best version of yourself for your future partner. Be the best version of yourself for yourself. I also like used to think like, oh, this is so good that I'm still single because I can't date unless I've reached my max. Not for them, but just because like I need to be perfect, because I don't want to rely on my self-confidence on that person, which is important, yes, but also there are ultimately some things I just can't learn by myself. You're never gonna reach that perfect version to be in a relationship. It'll just end up happening and then you'll learn in it. But in the meantime, use that time to figure out what you like, figure out what hobbies inspire you. That's so important because you can carry that on in your relationship. Don't become dependent on each other. It's supposed to be 2 lives added. So find what makes you happy. Figure out who you are first and foremost so that it's not dependent on your partner to tell you that you're beautiful or that you're these characteristics. Finding hobbies also keeps you busy, and I think being busy helps so much because it fills your life abundantly. Like, you have hobbies, you have friends. Like, I genuinely don't know how people do relationships, because on top of school, on top of career, on top of friendships, on top of myself, I genuinely don't know how I can add like a relationship into that. But fill your life so that it's almost like sacrificing a part of your time for this person instead of like, oh, finally I've been waiting, my life has been so empty, here it is, right? Because then you're just going to take anyone that comes. Now that my life is so fulfilled, I really have to weigh, is this person worth it for me to sacrifice all these other things that I love on my plate? I think that's the differentiation from a relationship coming from a place of like loneliness and desperation to one for like addition, I guess. And yeah, I already kind of mentioned it in the previous section, but focus on platonic love. I think you'll also ultimately end up having more fulfilling combos when you're single, and you start to realize this. Whenever people ask me like, oh, what about you, what about your romance, I have nothing to talk about. Like, maybe I'll have like one scenario because something ended up happening, but that takes like 30 minutes. There's no update for me, girl. My life is like dry. Like, I'll see people I've seen 2 years ago who are like, oh, whatever ended up happening, nothing. I have nothing. I think it's so normalized, especially in our 20s, if you're in your 20s, to have our discussions be so centered around romance. It's about what kind of boyfriends, who's your type, all these things. But then when you can't talk about those things, you end up learning to talk about more insightful things about college, careers, aspirations, self, like any problems you're going through, mental health. Like, there's so much to talk about, and it kind of decenters romance a bit. But also that's because you have to be intentional with it. Because when you are single, you can end up just only talking about it because it's something you want so bad, right? But also you can take it in the other direction where you can have more fulfilling combos that aren't centered around just romance. Lastly, for my advice, it's never linear. I'm talking about it so optimistically. Like, there's so much to learn from this, and I'm really like happy that I've know who I am now because I have such a strong sense of self, and I definitely wouldn't have this if I was in a relationship, I think. So I think it did work out, but it comes and goes in waves. Oh my god, the phases that I go through during Valentine's and like the holiday season, do not talk to me. I can't go out drunk when I'm ovulating. It's not a good combo. I have this super strong mindset. I know what I'm expecting, but it's so easy to falter, and it's okay. Like, that's normal. And it's still a part of you is like, oh, but like you crave that male validation. And when that happens, though, you just don't beat yourself up. Just know that there's always, I think, I don't know, at least for me, there's always going to be that part of me that craves it a bit. I think it's a little inevitable when you've never had a relationship, because I want to know what it's like. But just remembering these things, and if you ever need to reference this video to remind yourself, come back to this. Be kind to yourself. It's honestly a process. Like, getting to this point has taken me probably 21 years. Changing your mindset, it's never going to be automatic because you've like thought that way for so long. Constantly reminding yourself gently of these little reminders that this is a choice, and you know, it's a beautiful thing. There's so much to take, so much good out of being single. I need to pee so freaking bad, it's not even funny, and it's so hot. I've just been here for like an hour and my car's been on because I need the AC, so I need to wrap this up. But some tips. I am such a big lover girl, so this might sound like cringy and cheesy. Just skip past this part, but this is if like you need more external help in changing your mindset. Some things I did that really helped. I hated being on TikTok so much because like I swear there's a new couples trend every week and you see it and you're like, bruh, I want to do that so bad. So I created a folder called soft launch. I don't know why it's called that. I think I started off as like an idea of soft launching and I just put it in there. It's at 164 posts. Wait, and it's low-key sad when I'm scrolling through this folder and I see that the video is deleted because they probably broke up. My first video saved is 2023. I think it helps because then I save it and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do this. Not like a, bruh, oh my god, like, why am I single? I can't do that. It's like, oh, I can't wait until I have a boyfriend and I can do these trends. So if you see me posting like a TikTok trend from like 3 years ago, we don't talk about it, okay? Some songs also help. Like, I think screaming to songs really helps validate emotions. So some that helped me a lot, Haven't Met You Yet from Michael Bublé. That used to be my national anthem. I would play that song all the time. And then my more recent song that helps is You Can't Hurry Love. That one is just so good because I think it's like, there's a line when it's like, I feel my strength, oh, it's almost gone, remember. Something about like your strength, and then you just have to remember that like you can't hurry love. Yeah, so that also helps to listen to. And then if you need a sad song, I don't listen to the song, but I found it in my like waiting playlist, and it's Make It To Me by Sam Smith. I like don't know why that's in my, I don't remember ever listening to that, but there's that one. This one is like one of my faves. Make a notes app with all the things you want to do. And then that's because like when I used to hear my friends talk about dates or talk about things they did with their boyfriend, it's really easy to feel like sad or like jealous or bitter. But instead I would like pocket it and be like, oh, that's so cute. And I could genuinely be very like happy for them. I would just write it down. So mine's called Soph's Hopeless Romantic List. It's like so long. It has 173 things. It goes from like super basic to super niche. Like for instance, slow dance to music at night, kiss in the rain, make dinner together in PJs and eat by candlelight, road trip together, have an hour song, call all night and fall asleep on call. Like, it's like little things like that. It helps you again remind yourself that it's not never. It's just like when it comes, it'll come at when it's meant to come. Because generally a relationship is all about luck and timing. And then the last thing, my last advice before I wrap up, surround yourself with people with amazing friendships and fulfilling ones, and people who don't like make you feel bad for being single. Like, I have the best friends who hype me up. If anyone's making you feel bad, that's not a good friend. So surround yourself with a different kind of love, because there's so much love. Like, there's that one song by Olivia Dean, I've Seen It. I've seen it. That one's also good. Sorry, this ending's gonna be rushed because I'm so hot and I've been here for too long, but I feel like I got everything off my chest because I feel 10 pounds lighter, or that could just also be because I sweat so much right now. But if you're single, late bloomer like me, just know it is a great thing. And I hope this helps you in any way. If this helps you wait more, or if this helps you reframe your thinking, or makes you feel validated, or maybe all of the above, just know that you're not alone and our time will eventually come. Like, I'm excited for the time when I can watch back this video and be like, oh, little does she know, you know? Don't know when that is. It could be literally tomorrow. It could be in 2 years from now. Thank you for sticking with me if you watched this entire thing. I can't even imagine how long this will be, but I'll see you in the next one. I love you guys so much. Bye.